Well, now we kind of get to do some fun things um, with algebra. And the basis of algebra is so we can solve for an unknown. All right, so today we're going to be looking at solving equations using the addition property. And to be real honest with you, I'm going to give you an equation and then I'm going to kill it. Okay, because I'm going to over exaggerate a few things. I want us to go over some things because here again, longer is not harder. Order of operations takes care of us in a lot of different ways. All right, so here comes a problem. We're going to look at, whoop, let's get a pen here to where, right, x plus 8 equals 12. All right, and right now some of you already have that answer, which is great. Okay, but I told you before, I'm gonna kill this thing. Okay, the first thing I want to know is what I'm solving for. So I identify firstly I'm solving for x. And eventually I'm going to want x on one side and everything else on the other. Notice I didn't say the left side or the right side. I want it by itself. And I really don't care which side it's going to be on. Okay? The next thing I'm going to come and do is I'm going to find the equal sign and I'm going to split it. And instead of having an equation, I'm going to split this guy into two expressions, a left side, if you will, and a right side. Okay, so I'm going to look at my left side. Is there anything that I can do to combine like terms or simplify my left side? Well, in this case, they're not the same terms, so that answer would be no. This side is already simplified. So when I bounce over here to the right side, is there anything I can do to simplify this guy, make it a little bit easier on the eye? Well, that answer again is no. So this guy is simplified. Now I've got to simplify across the equal sign. And when I do, I have to actually physically take this guy off. And when I do, I have to opposite sign that, opposite operator. Okay, so a positive 8 and a negative 8 leaves me 0, which just leaves me x. And this could be x minus 0, x plus 0. Who really cares? Because anything, x minus 0 is x. X plus 0 is still x. Now, to maintain equality, this guy has to do the same what it does to the left side, it does to the right side. So now I have combining like terms over here. I have 12 and I have a negative 8. I have a difference of 4. Sign of the larger is positive. Therefore, x equals 4 is my answer. Now I know that that answer of 4 you could have gotten within the first 5 seconds. I get that. Okay, but this is how we will work every single problem, and I don't care how long it is. There will be more operators involved. There will be fractions. There will be decimals. None of that matters. These are the steps we take. Now, the great thing about algebra, and I won't do this every time just to conserve some time, but when we're done with it, you don't need me to check it. You can plug it back in and check it. All we have to do is if x equals 4, then 4 equals x. And so I rewrite this. I substitute the 4 in for x plus 8 equals 12. Here again, simplify the left side and I get 12. Simplify the right side and I get 12. Does the left side equal right side? Well, if that answer is yes, then this guy is my correct answer. So you don't have to look in the back of the book. You don't have to wait for your friend to get done with their work. You don't have to turn it in to me and go, oh man, that's what you should know when you turn this work in. If you have time to check your work, you should always know whether that's the right answer or that that's the wrong answer. Because if 12 equals 125, that answer is no, you don't have the right answer. Okay, so let's go back through. Let's do a couple more problems, a few more problems. So you understand a couple things here. So let's go fractions, because you guys love fractions. Please don't change this into a decimal. They work. It'll be okay. Separate the equal sign. I'm solving for x. Everything's got to go away from x. So I got to subtract 1/5 from here. I've got to subtract 1/5 from there. I get x by itself is equal to whatever this thing simplifies to. Well, I've got a positive 3 7/10, which is a mixed number, but still a fraction, right? And I'm subtracting 1/5, or I'm combining a negative 1/5. It's the same kind of thing. In order to combine like terms as fractions, I must have a, you guessed it, common denominator. So this guy is negative 2/10 now. And essentially, I'm not really looking at that guy anymore, because once I get my common denominator, I apply it. 2 from 7 is 5, and I still have this 3 up here. Make sure that my fractions are reduced, so this guy goes one more step. I can divide top and bottom by 5, and I get 3 1/2. I want to know what's right, plug it back in, left side equals right side, voila, we're there. So let's do a decimal problem. Solving for x, split the equal sign, nothing I can do left, nothing I can do right. Let's combine like terms across, so I've got to get it off one side. What I do to one side, I do to the other. Leaves me with x on this side. They're both negatives. When I combine both negative values, I will get a negative. Line up my decimals, carry the 1, and x equals -9. So remember, we still have to apply our rules for fractions. We still have to apply our rules for decimals when combining like terms or adding, subtracting. Let's do one more. Let's go 13x minus 10 is equal to 14x minus 8. Well, here again, I'm solving for x. Well, which one am I solving for? If I have to ask which one, I've got to get them together eventually. Okay, and that needs to be my goal pretty doggone soon. So as I look at this guy, I split them, left side simplified, right side simplified. Well, if my goal is to get my x's together, I'm going to get them together. Now, if I'm a kind of guy or gal that has to have my x's on the left, you're going to find a problem here real quick, because when I subtract 14x from both sides, I get a negative x. I'm not solving for negative x. I'm solving for 1x, positive x. Okay, so my recommendation to you, and not just for equal signs, but inequalities is where it really shows up, always move my smallest x value first. Get my x's together first, move my smallest guy. So I'm going to subtract 13x here. When I subtract 13x from this side, I get 14 minus 13, which is 1x. Yes, this is -8. Everything else drops down. This is -10, drops down the order that it was in. Okay, or we could have filled in the blanks and done it all in one step, save some paper, but for teaching lesson wise, I'll do it this way. And now I've got to get this guy off of the x. So if I add 8 to it, I get 0. Leaves me with x. What I do to one side, I do to the other. That's a difference of 2. Sign of the larger is negative. If I plug in -2 in for the x, remember I have to plug it in where I plug it in one place. I got to plug it in all of them. Left side better equal right side. That way I know that I have the right answer. Like I said, it's kind of a game. It's kind of fun if you can make it that way. Enjoy.